Hey everyone, welcome back to another live stream. It's been an interesting 2 months so far for the stock market this year, but let's see if we got anyone who's got any questions. I do look forward to these live events. Okay, we got one thumbs up and one person in the chat. Why don't you say hello? Who's here? All right, we're up to 15 people. Who do we got? Who's here? Hey, Aaron, good to see you. Rosa Dodd, Michael, good to see you guys. Welcome, welcome. Dave, channel member, Yo Yo. Zunar, John, Brian, also a channel member. Barus, Oliver. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Mr. Cuttahurry, good to see you. Jeff Hall, Renegades, Sean, Abel, Kenneth. Wow, you guys got here fast. AS, Brian, it's the Godfather. How's everybody doing? Oh, man. Kenny, Tyree, Mr. Silva, good to see you. Adrian, James, hello, everyone made it. Some reason it wouldn't come up on the app. L. Zhang, Michael Curtis. Quick question. Would like to know, will the housing market crash since the interest rate went up? I don't think there will be a housing crash this year, Michael. Obviously, each city and each local market is different. But because so many people have just locked in a low interest rate on their mortgage, 3 or 4%, 4% maybe if it's a rental property, nobody's going to want to sell. If you just locked in a historic low rate, then why would you want to sell that property to buy another one if you don't have to, and then refinance to a new 30-year fixed rate mortgage at a higher percentage rate? So I think inventory is going to stay low, which will keep prices high. So I don't see the housing market crashing for any reason this year. Could be wrong, but that's just my interpretation. Comrades Capital, good to see you. Happy options expiry Thursday, Friday, Tuesday. Kevin, what do you think of new surroundings and now being out of the Air Force? Guys, I'm loving being out of the Air Force. I've been on terminal leave the last 60 days, and really I stopped doing my job. The last time I posted out to the field to do my job was Thanksgiving. So I've been not doing my Air Force job for 3 months, and I have no regrets if that's how I can phrase that for you guys. Juan Hernandez, welcome to the live stream. Kelvin, Sadiq Rop, I'm assuming that means hello or greetings in Thai, but you're watching from Thailand. That's awesome. Mike McKenzie, good to see you. Hello from Austin, says Wayne. Plans upon separating from the Air Force, Anthony. Today, actually, yeah, February 17th. Today is my official date of separation. The last 60 days I've been on terminal leave, so I was free to out process and leave. But as of today, I am no longer getting a paycheck or have health insurance, so that's always fun. I should, in the next 24 hours, be able to get my DD 214. For those of you who know what that is, that's your official document saying you got out of the military. Saw your name pop up and had to click. Thanks, Chris. Cody the Kid, I'm working out right now. Gonna listen. Awesome. Don't skip the legs. Rosa Dodd, I see you got a fresh cut. Yeah, I went to Sports Clips. This is my first haircut in Las Vegas, so it's a nice, it's Sports Clips. They're basically all the same, but the lady who cut my hair was nice enough. I'll go see her again next month. Margaret's channel member saying howdy. How's it going, Margaret? Mark Ryan, hey Jake, I've been selling premiums with calls and puts for income. I think this is a viable income producing strategy to supplement my retirement. Yeah, I made that video about running the wheel strategy in retirement on the S&P 500 index, and it's getting a lot of interest. It's getting a lot of views and a lot of comments, most of it positive and supportive, some of it skeptical. Okay, where are we at here? Renegades, recently sold a property, want to invest the proceeds in index funds. Should I do lump sum or dollar cost average? I don't know how much money it is, Renegades, but I personally would dollar cost average it maybe over the next 5 or 6 months. Something tells me in March, when this first interest rate hits, the market will probably just have a panic attack, but it'll come back. If you're a long-term buy and hold investor, just don't sell if the market goes down. Just keep holding. But if you're looking to time it because you got more money, March might be a good opportunity to buy. Aaron, you refinanced for 2.5% last year. That's a fantastic rate on your mortgage. Zhang, did you send me message about? No, if you guys think I messaged you on Instagram, that is not me. That is a scammer. I'm sorry, but I'm just never going to randomly message my subscribers on Instagram telling them about great opportunities about crypto or anything like that. So those are scammers. There's all the finance YouTubers have them. Do you think the Fed will fix the inflation problem we're having this year? I think by this time next year, so February of 2023, when we get the inflation data, I think it'll be under 5%. If that's fixing, I don't know. There's always supposed to be a normal amount of inflation every year. The goal is between 1 and 2%. Obviously, it's much higher right now. Bang Paul Zhu, hello from China. Joaquin, Barus, how are you liking Las Vegas? My uncle came to visit me yesterday, so I didn't post a video. And this is actually the first time I went to the strip and did some touristy things. So I've been here almost a month now and finally made it to the strip. Went and checked out Mandalay Bay and Caesar's Palace and the Venetian, just walking around with my uncle. And it's a lot of fun. I'm going to have some friends from out of town visiting me in March and in April. So I'm doing it. This is why I moved here to have some fun. So Las Vegas is the place to be. Sean, so just invested 1,000 in Schwab brokerage accounts. I put 500 in the 1,000 index. Any opinion on those specific mutual funds? I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. Schwab has excellent mutual funds and index funds. I just don't recommend any actively managed ones that have higher fees. Cody, are you still bullish on the market and not worried about Russia? I don't know what's going on. We got Russia announcing that their exercise was over and they're putting the tanks back on the trains to bring them back. And then the State Department says, no, according to our satellite images, they haven't left yet. In fact, more troops have come into the area on the Ukrainian border. Our satellites are so good, guys. They say that they can read the warning label on a pack of cigarettes if you leave it on the ground. So you can't hide tanks. You can't hide 150,000 troops amassed on the border. We're not going to just take Russia's word for it that they've left. We obviously have our own methods of confirming whether or not those troops are still there. But we'll know we'll know in the next 4 or 5 days whether or not they're actually going to do anything. Hey, Kevin. James, nice to see you again. Joaquin, do you invest in index funds? If so, what do you recommend? I've mentioned this in some of my videos, guys, but 70% of my net worth is in S&P 500 index funds between my 401k, which is the government TSP, my Roth IRA, and my Fidelity accounts. All I'm doing is holding S&P 500 index funds. It's only in my Schwab and Robinhood accounts that, I'm trading options and trying to time the market and beat the market average. Jeff Hall, ASPS went up 10% or so today. Thoughts? I haven't looked into it. I don't know. Maybe they had a quarterly earning report and it was good news, but their business is dependent on the housing industry, the mortgage industry not doing well. And to me, it seems like it's doing fine. Aaron, do officers still have IRR? I assume you mean inactive ready reserve. And yes, I am in the inactive ready reserve for 3 years. So I still have a military ID. I still have base access. Once a year, I have to go in for a physical, but I don't go in uniform. But I don't get any pay or benefits. If Russia If we get into World War III, guys, they will immediately call me back, and I'll have to go back to North Dakota. Mr. Kadahuri, my Tesla option will get assigned. It was at 1,000. Any better move than just doing covered calls or waiting for recover? I'm assuming you sold a cash secured put on Tesla with a strike of 1,000, and it's now below 1,000. I I've said this on my channel before, guys. I think Tesla is overvalued. If investors are looking to sell overvalued stocks, if you want to hold 100 shares of Tesla long term, I don't think you'll lose money. But this year, potentially Tesla might not get it back above 1,000. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Wes Payne just became a channel member. Thank you so much, Wes. I greatly appreciate that. Welcome to the channel membership. Okay, we just got a lot of comments, so we're gonna have to skip ahead here. Uh, long Trin, Vegas is the best place on earth. It is amazing, just walking around. How fast this city has grown, and everyone that I've interacted with, most people who live in Las Vegas right now didn't grow up here. They moved here. So this city is very much a melting pot of different parts of the country. The lady who cut my hair just also happened to be from Wisconsin, and that's where I'm from. So I think it's just really interesting getting to meet all these people and hearing their story and figuring out why they decided to move here just like I did. James, I was thinking of applying the wheel to QQQ rather than SPY since a little cheaper. What do you think? Yeah, QQQ is a very safe index as well. Obviously, it's has higher highs and lower lows most days compared to the S&P, because the S&P has a lot more stable, boring blue chip companies in it. But if you want to run the wheel on QQQ, the premiums are all adjusted for how much more basically volatile it is. Jake Baker, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Jake. That's a really good name. What software do you use to record your computer screen for videos? So if you go to the Apple App Store, it's just called Screencast. And that is the software that I use to screen record on my iMac. And then I'm also filming on a Canon 90D, and then I just do picture in picture in iMovie. My operation, guys, is not very technical. I did not go to university to study film or editing. I'm just a guy trying to make it work on YouTube. Chris Cole, what's up, Jake? Thanks for all your content. Are you still dollar cost averaging into S&P 500 index even with the volatility? I've not actually added any money to my brokerage accounts this year so far. I need to do my taxes at the end of this month and figure out how much I owe the government because I wasn't making quarterly payments last year. And I made a significant amount of money last year from actively trading and YouTube. But once I know how much money basically I have in the bank, then potentially, yeah, I will just continue buying S&P 500 index funds. Kenny, I lived on North Las Vegas. Hopefully, you got a nice home in Summerlin or the better area. I'm in Henderson on the south side. I went and checked out the VA hospital and Nellis Air Force Base. And holy cow, guys, it was super loud. The Thunderbirds fly out of Nellis Air Force Base. And I mean, it's just like continuous thunder, probably for several hours every morning. I couldn't imagine having a house on the north side of base and having to listen to that. But those planes coming out of the Air Force Base are really, really loud. Jonathan, Jake, learned everything I know about options from you. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. This is Cyron. Hey, Jake. I'm starting in on my investing journey, and your videos and story have been very inspiring. Thank you so much for everything you're putting out there. I greatly appreciate that. I'm glad you found my channel and you're enjoying my videos. Socktheville G, what is your thoughts on buy and hold strategy for fundamentally strong companies? I buy index funds and good tech companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. Yeah, if you just want to buy and hold long term, and obviously you don't have all your eggs in one basket. Basically, I don't think any one company, any single stock, should be more than 20% of your overall portfolio. But if you're putting all your money into Apple or Microsoft long term, you're probably going to do pretty well. These are solid companies with the best balance sheets, and they have a wide moat. They have customer loyalty, and uh, I have no doubts that Apple and Microsoft are still going to be profitable companies 10 years from now. Okay, Nate Reed, are you going to sell calls against your long Facebook calls to get out of that position? So I'm waiting for Facebook to stop dropping. It's still going down. So I'm looking at the stochastics and the technicals to see when the selling with Facebook will stop. I think the $200 a share mark is going to be kind of like a psychological barrier. If it goes below that, I that's just astonishing that Facebook will basically have lost over half of its market caps from its high. But yes, I do want to basically lower my average cost for those contracts once I think Facebook will have a bounce back or at least trend up in the short term, and then I'll sell short term calls against them. So currently in my Schwab account, I've sold calls with the same expiration dates as my long calls. So I've created a vertical spread. When you sell shorter term calls against your long calls, that's a diagonal spread. I'll make a video and I'll explain it when I get there. Anthony, what do you intend to do with the money in your TSP? The money on the Roth side of my TSP, I'm going to roll that into my Roth IRA. Once I do that, I'll have enough money to buy 100 shares of SPY, and I can start running the wheel strategy on the S&P 500 index fund in my Roth IRA. The money on the traditional side, I might just leave it in there so I have access to the account. I only have like $2,000 or $3,000 on the traditional side. Obviously, the last 3 years, I've only been contributing to the Roth side of my TSP. I, I, I might open a traditional IRA and move the money, or just cash it out so I don't have to think about it. Stalin, how are the strip clubs in Vegas? I haven't been to any yet, but maybe when one of my buddies comes out in March or April, we'll go check out one for fun. But those places are expensive. So where are we at here? Assassin Killer, you think Ethereum will go past 4,000 this year? I don't invest in crypto. I've never bought Bitcoin, Ethereum, or anything like that. I I don't know. My personal opinion is that if the money supply starts contracting and the price of real estate or stocks come down, people are going to sell their crypto to buy real assets, real world tangible assets. Crypto might be a good store of value, but that store of value, I mean, isn't the purpose to use it once there's a good deal for your money elsewhere? So I think the boom that crypto has had the last 2 or 3 years might not be able to sustain itself if we actually do have a global recession of some kind. Red Matter, I have a large dollar brokerage account. If I cash out, refinance my house, and add to my brokerage account, I could sell covered calls on Spire and retire easily. Am I crazy to consider this? I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot give you financial advice. If you do want to cash out, refinance your house, and then use that to invest, that's money costing you maybe 3 or 4% on your mortgage, and if you can get a higher return from that from investing, then it's a pretty good deal. It's up to you. I can't tell you to do that. Dave Ramsey would not approve. Michael, late to the party. If we get another red day on SPY, thinking it could be time for another dead hand challenge. What are your thoughts, Jake? I don't know if you followed my video when the market sold off 10% in late January, but I made over 10 grand by uh, buying 4 call contracts and then doubling up to 8. So I had a total of 12. And if the market panic sells off like that again, I am going to be watching the technical indicators to see when the sellers have exhausted themselves. And yeah, I might buy 10 call contracts on SPY again at the money and see if I can catch a bounce. A mercy received, you buying PayPal. Right now, PayPal is below all 4 of its major moving averages. That stock, even if the fundamentals turn and look great, it's not going to uptrend anytime soon, but potentially 6 or 7 months from now, once the 200-day moving average has caught up to the share price of the stock, that might be the time to buy PayPal as it starts being able to trend up again. Lunchbox 469, that's a good name. What was the trade that made you the best money return in your past? I bought call contracts on Costco when it dipped in early 2021. So in early 2021, you can see the charts for no reason. Costco sold off pretty significantly, and then it started rebounding, and I jumped on that with some call contracts. I mean, I think I made like 12 or 13 thousand dollars last year just off that one trade. And eventually, I just had to sell to close it because I was up so much, and it was just making me nervous. Like, why does Costco stock keep going up? I love Costco. I think it's a brilliant business, but when you look at their PDE, it's like 50. You know, Costco is not really a hyper growth stock. It's a great long term buy and hold if you want to hold it for 10 years. But if people are looking for overvalued stocks to sell off in the short term, it doesn't make any sense why Costco has gone up to $500 a share. Shay states long term life goals for you. Well, I'd like to be financially free and independent. I'm currently 37, and I'd like to be a millionaire by the time I'm 40 from YouTube and investing. And then basically, I'll be working because I want to work, not because I feel like I have to achieve a point in my life where I have so much money where I don't have to worry about my housing or my health insurance or any of my bills getting paid. I'm pretty close, guys. I'm pretty close, 1 or 2 years away. And I think I'm just basically set for life. M. Smith, my wife will be giving birth before the end of the month to a baby boy. Got any name ideas? That's incredible. Congratulations, M. Smith. Uh, because my last name starts with a B, I've always been partial to first names that start with an A. So I've really liked the name Avery, for a boy, or maybe Audrey for a girl. But I'm pretty potentially far away from having kids of my own. But if your last name actually is Smith, I don't know. Maybe something that sounds good with Smith. I can't think of anything at the moment. Steve Martin, will the index funds have capital gains in March or April? I was up 442 per share. I think once this first Fed interest rate hits the market, short-term traders are just going to be, shorting everything, and people are going to get spooked. But what is so scary about the federal funds interest rate being 1%? Would investors, in the year 2006 or 1999 be upset about 1% interest rates from the Fed? It's still basically historic lows when you look at the last 70 years. So I think it's this psychological barrier that because we've been at 0% interest rates for so long that just by going to 1%, people are going to, in the short term, panic. So do I think this month or March, the market's going to be green? I don't think so. I think we're going to continue trading sideways or potentially see a full 20% correction. But that's a good thing if you've got money to invest, cash on the sidelines. That's the time to buy. Nate Reed, hey Jake, are you going to sell calls against the long FB to get out of that position? Yes, Nate, I will be. I'll make that video once I feel like the sellers on Facebook have exhausted themselves. I check it every day, and the selling has not stopped for Facebook. It can still potentially go lower. Oh, Johnny Smithy, a $10 super chat. I greatly appreciate it. I don't see a question from you, so if you have a question, let me know. Sabi Sachi G, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Jake, please suggest among SCHG or SCHX. Sorry, off the top of my head, I'm not familiar with the difference between those two Schwab ETFs. Jose Garcia, what's your opinion about buying puts against Facebook? The time to buy puts on Facebook was a month ago. How much? It's at like 212 right now. I mean, how much lower do you really think Facebook is going to go based on their, you know, half the world uses either Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp. So the potential that Facebook has to rapidly monetize their customer and user base still exists. Now, people hate ads. People don't like when more ads appear in their messaging apps. But if in the short term, if Mark Zuckerberg wants to pump his revenue, he can easily achieve that. If he wants to look good in 3 months, Facebook can make that happen. So if you want to bet against Facebook now, after it's already dropped almost 40%, I would not recommend that. Where are we at here? All right, we're going to have to jump here. Nate Reed, we got a $5 super chat. Hey, Jake, we want to thank you for all your hard work and videos. My wife and I have been learning together from you. Much appreciated. I greatly appreciate that, Nate. I'm doing this full time now for the rest of this year. So I'm still going to be making 4 or 5 new videos. And if there's something I know I can share or something that I learn that I think other people would find beneficial, I'm going to keep making those videos for people. Aaron Taylor, crypto and NFTs won't survive tighter monetary policy. The problem I have, guys, with crypto and NFTs is it's so inflationary. Everyone keeps making this argument that, oh, you gotta, buy crypto because the money supply keeps expanding, money becomes less valuable. But when you look at how many new cryptocurrencies are being created every day, overall, that dilutes the amount of money that crypto investors have concentrated in Bitcoin or Ethereum or individual ones. The fact that new cryptos keep getting invented and then it diverts money from the existing ones, it is inflationary. The whole market is inflationary, and the value of individual cryptocurrencies is being diluted. Same thing with NFTs. I don't get it. If everybody creates an NFT, if Justin Bieber and Snoop Dogg start making NFTs of their songs and their shoes, I don't know. But just how can there possibly be a demand for all of these NFTs and all of them have value that continue going up in value over time? I just don't understand how this market can support itself when there's so much inflation, so much supply flooding onto the NFT market. Doesn't make sense to me. Rosadad, do you have any sponsors reaching out? I've had Webull and Moomoo and a couple crypto brokerages contact me, but I just don't think it's worth the effort, guys. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Financially, I'm doing great at the moment, so I don't feel the need to plug Moomoo's brokerage account or Webull, for 30 seconds in every one of my videos. I'm not going to do that to you guys. Doesn't interest me. Gabriel, what is your favorite bank stock today? Citibank is mine, less than 7 PE. Yeah. So Citi just has a really bad history. When you look at Citi compared to all the other bank stocks, you're right. It's the cheapest one. But there's some bad blood when you look at Citi's stock graph. Back in 2007, that stock was at $400 a share. So people have a grudge against Citibank, but you're right. Eventually, as new investors come onto the market, they'll look at that low price to sales, price to book value, and Citi's a good buy. You're not wrong. Adriana, Jake, are you still keeping the index fund with Vanguard? I really like the way you explain. I still have my Vanguard brokerage account, but I don't have any money in it. I personally just don't like the user experience and the platform that Vanguard has. But if you're a Vanguard customer, don't worry about it. If all you do is buy and hold their mutual funds, it's an A plus product. But I do really like Vanguard's ETFs. So if you just want to buy and hold VTI, the total stock market ETF, or VOO, the S&P 500 ETF, you can buy their ETFs with any brokerage account. So you can be a Schwab or a Fidelity customer and buy VTI or VOO. I just recommend those to everybody because Vanguard is such a good company. Gabriel, what is your favorite bank stock? Oh, there you are, Gabriel. Yeah, Citibank. Thank you so much for the $5 super chats. Other bank stocks that I think are good right now. I still like Capital One, but I just don't know in the short term what people are going to be doing with these bank stocks. Jonathan James, 39-year-old here. What's a good balance with mutual funds for someone our age in the TSP? Jonathan, if you're investing in the TSP and you're 39, then potentially you're not touching this money for another 20 years. So I highly recommend you put all of your money into US equities. That is the C fund or the S fund. You can do 50-50 or 80-20, or if you just want to be 100% C funds, that's personally what I'm doing. And that will give you your highest long term return over the next 20 years. You're not going to get it with life cycle funds. You're not going to get it with government bonds or corporate bonds. So just stick to the C fund mostly. But if you want to have a little in the S, that works too. Evan Wheeler, thank you so much for the $10 super chats. That is very, very kind of you. Sky Triggerio, what are your thoughts on the wheel strategy on SPY in a non-tax advantaged account? In a non-tax advantaged, so just an ordinary brokerage account. Do you think the short-term growth is enough to beat the long-term tax incentives of buy and hold? Absolutely. I think people overestimate the drag of paying taxes on capital gains. Like, people who say you shouldn't actively trade because you'll have to pay taxes, that's basically saying you shouldn't work a job because if you earn an income, you'll have to pay taxes on your income. I Obviously, if you're just buying and holding index funds in an ordinary brokerage account, you're not paying any taxes because you only pay taxes when you sell. I understand the compound growth is there over time from year to year, not paying taxes, but if I can get 38% of my money running the wheel strategy, I will happily pay 15% on that 38% to the government to earn more money this year. Because, earning 38% this year, earning 38% next year, earning 38% the year after that, the government can take their 15, 20% or whatever my marginal tax rate is. I'm not going to worry about that. Cap FTAD, what was your bachelor's degree and GPA? That's a question no one's ever asked me before, but I have a bachelor's of science in geology and political science from the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, and I think my GPA was 3.71. So that was a pretty good GPA for two very difficult programs at the university. If I wanted a 4.0, I should have majored in business, guys. Psycho Tate, have you met any aviators? Aviators? You mean like pilots in the Air Force? I'm not sure I understand the question. David, what are your thoughts on condos? If you like the condo life and you want to own, then yeah, condos are good. I don't know if condos are a great investment long term since buildings inevitably need to be updated and you know uh, owning a condo 30 years potentially I don't see how much it'll appreciate over time rather if you owned property in a house. All right, we're gonna have to jump. All right, Steve Martin, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate the support, guys. Okay, so we got 258 people watching and only 71 thumbs up. If you guys can give this video a thumbs up, I greatly appreciate it. It helps other people find the live stream. Emily Ann Quinn, hey there, Jake here. Hey there, Dave here. Are you guys a Dave Hansen fan? But yes. Shay states, do you regret not finding a life partner till now? Uh, I've had long-term relationships. I broke up with a long-term relationship when I moved to South Korea. I then had a long-term relationship, and we ended amicably when she moved back to America and I stayed in Asia. I then had another long-term relationship when I left South Korea and moved back to America. So all my long-term relationships seem to end when one of us leaves the country. But yeah, I do want to find somebody to settle down with long term and potentially start a family. Hopefully, I can do that in Las Vegas. I wasn't getting the job done in Minot, North Dakota, guys. I'll admit that to you. Nicholas, what do you think of PayPal stock? It's below all four of its major moving averages. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. If you want to invest in PayPal, I would wait another 2 quarters, give it 6 or 7 months, and then it might be ready to start uptrending again. Barus, is there a best time to sell options? Early in the morning, closer to the end of the day, or even the Monday after the third Friday? I personally like getting in and out of my contracts midday around noon because the day traders are kind of, doing their thing, going crazy those first 40 minutes in the morning and those last 30 minutes in the afternoon. But usually, prices are the most stable when I want to get in and out around midday. As far as days of the week, if you sell options, I recommend selling options on a Thursday. Why a Thursday? And the reason why is because the premium of the contract wastes away every single day, including weekends. So even though the markets aren't open on Saturday or Sunday, the way that options formulas are calculated, it's per day. So if you sell an out of the money call or an out of the money put on a Thursday, the contract will slowly waste away Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can then buy it back on Monday. Lots of options traders will do that. Why not Friday? And it's because options traders are already pricing in the drop in value of the contracts on Friday. So you just got to go one day sooner to get that theta decay from the weekend. Good evening, Kim. Good to see you. Mark, Jake, hope you're doing well, man. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Mark. Hinnen Wall puts, hello, Jake. Just want to say hello to you and support your channel. Thank you so much. Kenny, Jake, how do you feel about TSP coming out with mutual funds and their own app? And how do you suggest AD members GK about it? So the government TSP is managed by BlackRock. And right now they just offer the five basic funds. But if people wanted different kinds of funds, then BlackRock would just accommodate that. Because it's the government TSP, I don't know if Congress has to get involved to approve the ability for BlackRock to. BlackRock is the largest brokerage company in the world. And if they want to allow TSP members to join their already existing actively managed funds or sector ETFs or anything like that, let people do what they want to do. I don't think the TSP limiting people just to the five basic funds is I think people should be allowed more control over their TSP. So I think it's a good thing. Jesse, keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Jesse. Danny, what type of camera are you using and what type of software are you using for your YouTube channel? Oh, okay. Uh, okay, the chat jumped. I'm sorry, but I use a Canon 90D camera and I just use iMovie to edit stuff. All right, we got to jump here. AC Halligan, hey Jake, great to see you. They need to replace the Air Force finance readiness trainings with your video. Much better info, in my opinion. I've tried recommending it to people. If people want to learn about the TSP, the training that they give when you first get into the military is not very educational or motivating. So I think I could do a better job if they want to get in contact with me. I could help them make a video that I think would explain it better. Matthew, thoughts on emerging markets in the next 5 years? I'm less and less a fan. I like sticking to America, guys. Obviously, there's probably some great buys out there, but I can't claim to be an expert on Nigeria or Brazil or these emerging countries. If you want to buy an emerging market index ETF, that's probably the safest thing to do rather than to go all in on some company in the developing world. NP, I always feel like I'm losing my mind when people say don't trade because you'll pay taxes. I think it's just something people say to make them feel better if they don't want to actively trade. It's hard to sometimes feel like you're missing out on something, so you have to justify it to yourself. There is a benefit there, but it's not a deterrent in my eyes. I don't think it's financially significant enough where you should actively avoid actively trading just because, oh no, the government's going to make you pay taxes this year. Izzy, channel member. So you say you don't hold calls until expiration. Can you go over a bit about your strategy? Yeah, I care more about hitting price targets or levels of support or levels of resistance. And that's when I just buy to close or sell to close. I don't see the point of just holding a contract until expiration, regardless of what the share price is doing. Like I'm tracking the stock on the charts. I'm not like checking my watch, waiting for a calendar dates. But for people who want to be truly hands off and they just don't want to think about it, then yeah, you can just, sell covered calls or sell cash secured puts and hold them until expiration and not care. I just don't do that myself. Sakata, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Hi, Jake. Your videos are great. What's your view on hedge fundies' excellent adventure strategy? I have no clue what that is, but that actually sounds pretty cool. I'm going to make a note of that because I don't know what that is. Hedge fundies, excellent adventure. That's such a funny name. So yeah, Sakata, I don't know what that is, but I will look that up later. You potentially know something I don't. HFEA. Okay. I'll look into it. Zach P, do you suggest YOLOing into Apple and Google and Microsoft? No, I mean, like I said, I don't think an individual stock or position should ever be more than 20% of your portfolio. Additionally, I think most of your money should be in broad-based index funds, but for the smaller percentage that you want to actively trade with, don't put more than 20% into one position. So, if you did have a portfolio of 20% Apple, 20% Google, 20% Microsoft, 20%, I don't know, Berkshire Hathaway, and 20%, one of the other. If you just look at the 10 largest, I definitely think these stocks are going to stay on top for a while. So they're not the worst positions to hold long term. All right. Seasider, a lot of $1 super chats. You 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you so much, Seasider. I greatly appreciate it. Bruce Timothy, love your military content. What do you do in the Air Force, if you don't mind me asking? Bruce, I was a nuclear and missile operations officer. So for 4 years, uh, I would post out to the missile fields in North Dakota, and I would spend 24 hours underground in a launch control capsule, taking custody of 10 launch facilities. And I was in charge of the maintenance, security, and operations of those 10 intercontinental ballistic missiles. That was my job. Cody the Kid, I messed up with Facebook. I sold puts to expire this month at 300. Ooh, when FB crashed, I rolled it down to 195 and out to March. Maybe I will try rolling again. Yeah, I don't think Facebook's going to recover to 300 or 295 in the next month. I think Facebook would be lucky to get back to 250 before their next quarterly earnings statements in February, March, and May. In May, they'll give their next quarterly earnings report. Hopefully, it's good for them. Otherwise, yeah, Facebook's in trouble. Sean, could you talk a little bit about oil stocks? Are they on the rise? Will ExxonMobil go to 100 a share? Right now, it is close to 80. I hate oil stocks, guys. You know, they just go up and then they go back down and then they go back up. When you look at ExxonMobil's stock price over the last 10 years, it hasn't done anything. It's a dividend pair, which is, I guess, nice if you're just interested in getting the dividend, but you need capital appreciation from, the stock price doing something. ExxonMobil was at $86 a share in 2007, and it's now at $78 a share. So, this stock price has gone nowhere in almost 15 years. So, do I ever recommend oil stocks? No. Potentially, there are energy stocks that do have good capital appreciation over time, but as soon as something happens, in Saudi Arabia or Iran or Russia, the prices just move 10% in a day, and you become trapped in that stock, or you missed out on something. Stephen Whipple, did you take into consideration Air National Guards and reserves? If so, why did you ultimately decide not to? Yeah, it's part of your out processing checklist. You have to go talk to a recruiter for the National Guard and Reserves. So I sat down with the guy and talked to him for almost an hour. And they're really good at getting people to stay in the reserves or the guard once you leave active service. But I showed this guy my YouTube channel, my YouTube analytics, and how much money I was making, and he was like, "Damn, I guess maybe you don't need the guard or reserves." And I just don't want the hassle. I don't want to deal with the paperwork. I'm also just kind of disillusioned by all just the bureaucracy and paperwork and monotony of the Air Force. And I'll give you guys an example. So I'm trying to get my DD-214, and I got an email from MyPers saying that to get my official DD-214, I have to be on a PC window. I have to be on a PC computer and use Internet Explorer to download these extensions in order to access my DD-214. I don't own a PC, and Internet Explorer isn't even supported anymore by Windows. So the fact that the Air Force is telling me that I have to use a PC computer and use Internet Explorer to get something that I need, a document to file VA claims, a document to prove everything that I served in the military, is just insane. And I just can't. I'm feeling triggered right now. So yes, that is the reason why I chose not to stay in the guard or reserves. I just want to be 100% free, guys. Seasider, what's next to your bronze statue? Are you talking about this? Uh, that's a model ship of Serenity, the TV show that was canceled by Fox in 2001. So it's a Firefly class ship. If you're familiar, if you're a sci-fi geek and you know what Firefly is. Kenny Ortiz, sorry, I meant to. Okay. Kyle7181, do you invest in gold or silver? Nope. If you look at the long term performance of gold and silver, it gives you a terrible return. Is it better than cash, holding cash? Yes, obviously it is. But over the last 10, 20, or 30 years, would you rather have been holding gold, or would you rather have been holding the S&P 500 index funds, and the index fund blows it out of the water? There's no math anyone can show me to support why gold or silver would be a good long-term investment. I made a video on my channel about it if you guys want to check it out. Okay, we jumped. Where are we at here? John, opinion on today's stock market drop. It's the third Friday of the month, guys. This is getting very predictable, but the third Friday of the month, when options contracts for the month expire, liquidity in the market freezes up and the stock market just pulls back. I think this week will finish red for the week, and then Next week will be green. It is also partly the situation with Russia and Ukraine. A lot of people holding cash, and like me, they just want to get confirmation from the State Department that Russia actually is standing down and they're not going to invade Ukraine. So we'll see. Anthony, given the value of a military retirement, was it a difficult decision for you to separate? So yes, if you were to calculate how much I've done this in a YouTube video, but I calculated how much my pension was worth over my lifetime. So if I retired after 20 years at 52 and I lived to be 85, how much in retirement benefits would I have collected over my lifetime? And it's like $4.5 million. So if I completed 6 years of a 20-year retirement, I already earned over $1 million worth of future benefits for completing those 6 years. So by separating from the military without doing 20 and getting that retirement pay, I walked away from over $1 million. But I walked away from over $1 million so I could do YouTube full time. So there's an opportunity cost there. And hopefully, over the next 14 years of doing YouTube, I can make more money than I would have made from the military and the retirement system. So it's a gamble, guys. It's a trade-off. He win. Hi, Jake. Should I put money from S&P 500 to dividend stocks for this year? No. If you're S&P 500 index fund holder, long term, just keep holding. Don't worry about it. Jeff Ha, any thoughts on T. Rowe Price? Looks like one of the best dividend aristocrats out there. If you guys follow Joseph Carlson, he has a really good YouTube channel, and he just made a video talking about how T. Rowe Price's stock has pulled back. I think if you want to buy T. Rowe Price, I would wait for the technicals to support. It's going to start uptrending again. If you don't want to mess around with reading charts, just buy it now. But it's below all four of its major moving averages, and I think it can go lower. So I would wait for the selling to stop before you take a position in T. Rowe Price. Mo Goggles, do you think ARK and Invest is just garbage, or is there a place for it in a diversified portfolio? It's garbage, guys. I said it was garbage in a video a year ago when it was at all-time highs. Like, it just didn't make any sense to me. When you look at their largest holdings of Zoom, Roku, Robinhood, Teladoc, I don't understand what the competitive advantage of these companies is. Kathy Wood keeps using these buzzwords of disruptive and innovative, but most of these companies that she invests in can't make a profit, and they're diluting their shareholders like crazy by issuing new stock. It's the only way they can stay in business because they can't make a profit. So I don't think the story of Kathy Wood's ARK fund is going to get any better if the Fed raises interest rates. And uh, you can just look at the price to sales of some of these companies, and they're still double digits, meaning to make them more competitively valued, they're going to keep falling. So where is her fund at right now? ARK. Kathy Wood is just a very successful marketer. Holy cow! ARK dropped 6.5% today. That's crazy, guys. Holy cow! Geez. Oh man, where I could see ARK's innovation ETF getting below $50 easily below $50, especially with Tesla falling. Which vulgar? Okay. Uh, we're gonna go to the super chat. $5 super chat from Meow Meow. Excellent name. Nvidia, AMD, or Intel. Which do you like best and why? I think Intel is, from a value investor standpoint, the cheapest stock. So if you're looking for something to buy and hold for 10 years, potentially Intel might give you the best return because it is trading so cheaply right now. However, who has the superior products? It's Nvidia and AMD. Who has the most growth potential in the short term? It's probably AMD. So if you're looking for a trade to make over the next 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, it's probably AMD. But over the next 10 years, which might give you the best return, then it's Intel. The problem with Nvidia and AMD, guys, is they're being priced in for spectacular growth. Well, what happens when their growth slows down to the growth value of Intel today? I mean, some people say that will never happen, but it only takes one bad quarter, like Facebook, for the stock to drop 30 or 40%. Boomslang, you should move to Southeast Asia. You can still work online. Cost of living is cheap. Yeah, I've thought about that. The fact that I trade stocks and I make YouTube videos, there's nothing keeping me here in America. So I do plan on using the airport in Vegas to take some trips, and I'll keep you guys updated on what my plans are. Seasider, my only regret is that I only have one like to give. Thank you so much, Seasider. I greatly appreciate your comments and support on the channel. Zach P, thanks for answering my question. Been trading forever without getting rich, even though I got over 100K. Just seems easier to YOLO into the big three. And I'll add Burke B and maybe another one. When you look at the long-term performance of Berkshire Hathaway, guys, I mean, it's pretty phenomenal. The Berkshire Hathaway over the last 5 years is beating most of these, game-changing, disruptive, innovative tech stocks. So Warren Buffett's getting the last laugh over Cathie Wood. Juan Hernandez, Jake, why you like SPY over VOO? I choose SPY because it has more people trading options on it. So when you look at the bid-ask spread for contracts on VOO, it's much wider because fewer people are trading it. Whereas with SPY, I can get in and out of contracts and the bid-ask spread is always like $1, literally just $1. So that's why I recommend SPY for trading options. However, VOO technically does have the smaller expense ratio for people buying and holding long term. Okay. All right, we jumped, guys. I'm sorry. Sir Henry, do you think Palantir will dip further? Yes. I watched Joseph Carlson's video on Palantir, and what is their price to sales value? It's currently 17. So could the price to sales of Palantir get below 10 before the share price stabilizes? And yes, it can. So if Palantir is currently at 14, it can still drop 40%. So Palantir could easily get to $8 a share. They're still diluting their shareholders, issuing new stock. It's their business model, and the technicals are now a nightmare. So all the short-term traders don't want anything to do with Palantir because it's below all four of its major moving averages. It's going to take over a year for this stock to get back above basically its 200-day moving average. And then when will it get to new all-time highs? It's going to be a while. A Penguin Games, what's your opinion on the Space Force? I think it's stupid. I mean, they could have just renamed the Air Force the Air and Space Force, but you didn't need to create a new branch or, divert assets or create more bureaucracy. The military doesn't need more levels or echelons. So I don't see the point. They could have just renamed the Air Force to make it more space inclusive or orientated. Hi, Jake. What's your take on 3M tanking? Why did 3M tank? I don't know. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a huge sell-off. I have no clue. I'm assuming it's supply chain issues, just from what usual suspect. Sally Allen, can we nibble on leaps for Facebook or wait? I would wait. I would keep waiting. Facebook is still going down. Ronith, can you recommend which index is good for selling puts and calls? State Street's SPY. That's what I do on my channel. That's what I recommend. Ooh. Comrades Capital, ARK is actually still outperforming Berkshire, QQQ, and SP over the last 5 years. But you have to ask yourself, Comrades Capital, is who's actually been buying and holding ARK for the last 5 years? 5 years ago, ARK had very few investors. So who has been outperforming by holding ARK for 5 years? And I don't think you can find me anybody other than Kathy Wood and the people who work at her company. But who's been holding Berkshire for the last 5 years? Who's been holding QQQ or the S&P 500? Most people who learned about Kathy Wood or got involved with Kathy Wood did it in the last 2 years. And many of them are negative on their positions right now. Ashay, if you had 500,000 in cash lying around, where would you put it? I just made a video saying how to retire with $437,000. So go check out that video, Ashay. That's exactly what I would do if I had $500,000 in cash. I would generate $6,000 or more a month in option premium from running the wheel strategy. Ooh, from the books and shelf, which one would you recommend for us? Hey, my video that I'm going to try and film tomorrow is on this book, Richer, Wiser, Happier by William Green. Obviously, it'll come in the video tomorrow why I recommend it, but 10 out of 10. I think it's a good read for people who want to be successful, being long-term traders. Let's see here. Where are we at? Taehoon Kim. Hey, Jake. Oh, wait. No. All right. We got a $5 super chat once again from Johnny Smithy. Thank you so much. Thank you for all you do. Please use my donation to buy yourself a PC with Internet Explorer. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I like that. Yeah, I probably should have a PC. No, there's no reason I should have a PC other than the military is telling me I need to use Internet Explorer. So I'll find somebody. I'll find a friend who has a PC, and I'll get them to help me download my DD214. Christian, 3M dividends are great. They got a $100 million settlement with the military over earplugs. They did. Taehoon, hey Jake, how do you look at a firm? A firm? It's been selling off. So a firm doesn't have a 200-day moving average line because it's a recent IPO or SPAC. I don't recommend you get involved with IPOs or SPACs in their first 2 years. So this is downtrending hard, currently at 37 a share. It's probably going lower. I would avoid investing in a firm right now. Stephen Whipple, I would say to your point, the Army probably thought the same about the Air Force. Star Hustler, that's a good name. Sup, Jake, what skills are you interested in learning and perhaps make videos of? I honestly wish I knew more about photography and just in general, like photo editing. I keep meaning to sit down and getting serious about taking some classes or watching some videos or doing some tutorials. I think if I got serious about taking nice photographs, that would just be a cool skill to have that I could set my friends up with, or friends or family, take nice photos with them. Bruce Timothy, what will you do with your TSP now that you're out? I'm going to roll the contents of my Roth TSP side into my Roth IRA with Charles Schwab. I just like having more options available to me, and I'll start running the wheel strategy for cash secured puts and covered calls in my Roth IRA. Sally, thoughts on Lululemon? I don't know. I haven't looked at Lululemon in a long time. Yep, it's currently downtrending below all 4 of its major moving averages. It's probably going lower. This is not a good time, in my opinion, if you're looking to take a position to buy Lululemon. Spencer, is there any reason to not use Fidelity Zero funds? What I've been told about Fidelity's zero expense ratio funds is they only pay dividends once a year. So other mutual funds with maybe Schwab or Vanguard will pay you dividends quarterly. But for some reason, to offset having no expense ratio, Fidelity only pays you your dividends for the stocks it holds once a year. So there's something fishy going on there that I haven't really looked at too deeply. Super chat, $5 from Meow Meow again. Thank you so much. Kathy Wood was inspired by the brilliance and success of genius Bill Huang and the wonderment of Archegos. How are they doing now, by the way? Yeah, Arcade. Whatever happened to Archegos? I feel like that was a big story for like 3 days, and then everybody just completely forgot about it. How long is it going to take for Viacom and Discovery's stock prices to recover from that? Hui Nori, hi Jake. Thoughts on Walmart for the next 6 months? Walmart's a pretty stable stock. I don't see it crashing or anything. So like the downside risk on Walmart, I feel like is pretty low, but Walmart just kind of does its thing. You know, you can probably get a higher return holding other stocks with more growth, but Walmart's is still a pretty safe bet to be. Uh, Uh, it's Edens. Can you talk about the current technicals of Facebook? Bought Facebook call 230 on March 17 when is at 232. The sellers need to exhaust themselves, and eventually, I think it will start uptrending just from short-term traders, and it's got to get back to its 20-day moving average. So I don't know. People are being very unforgiving of Facebook right now. So, I mean, the stock is basically radioactive. And you bought a call when it was at 232. I, I don't know what to tell you. It could keep going down, but I would guess over the next 2 weeks, it gets a bounce or a snapback at some point. Wax Zingo, Jake, can you make a note on XYLD for future videos? XYLD. Okay, I will make a note and I will look at that later. Keaton, do you know if I can sell option contracts against a short position? So a short position by definition is you sold contracts. So no, you can't sell contracts against contracts you sold. You would I mean, you can always buy. So no, I don't think that statement makes sense. Invest in your future. What's your take on Everything Money channel? You are the best YouTuber I know of. I've been in contact with Seth from Everything Money, and they want to have me as a guest on their channel, but they need me to like sign some contracts or something first. Those guys are just extremely busy. I mean, they make way too many videos. Like I can't watch them all. And they give really good advice. But for a channel that calls itself Everything Money, they seem to just keep making the same video about the same stocks every month. It's a criticism that they're well aware of, but they have a formula that's working for them well right now, and they're getting decent views, and they're still growing. So, I mean, I wish them all the success. I really appreciate what they do on their channel. Fern C, do you recommend putting money down on a VA loan for a home purchase, or would you rather invest in the market? I can't recommend you what you should do, but personally, once I buy a home next year, I will use the VA home loan and I will not put any money down. I will get a service disability rating of at least 10% for tinnitus. So they'll waive the VA funding fee. So I won't pay the fee and I'm not going to put any money down. I'd rather keep my money and invest with it. Katrine Cabell, I have a PC, Jake. I am willing to assist. Well, I greatly appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you. Boomslang, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, guys. We're doing really well on this YouTube live stream. If not for YouTube, what online business would you like to try? It's a good question. What online business would you like to try? I have put no thought into that, guys. I've been all in on YouTube and this plan for basically the last year and a half. But I imagine some kind of like maybe like tutoring service. I used to be an ESL teacher, and if I wanted to work from home on a computer, but that's not really an online business. That's basically just working for somebody else. I've never looked into drop shipping or anything like that, so I don't know. I've never made a video like that for my channel because I haven't thought on it. Jeff Hall, what are your thoughts on Tesla near term? It's probably going down, but People for the last 2 years have just been paying more for Tesla's stock price because they like the company, and as long as people like the company and they like Elon Musk, they're going to keep buying Tesla stock. It don't matter. You gonna watch the new Batman movie? Sure. I don't think I'll pay for it in theaters, but once I can get it on HBO Max, yeah, I'll watch it. Aaron Johnston. Oh, guys, I just watched the new Ali Wong comedy Netflix special last night. If you've seen Ali Wong's two other comedy specials on Netflix, they were absolutely hilarious. This probably was her best one. I mean, I was dying laughing. I thought it was so funny. Aaron Johnston. Hey Jake, what are your thoughts on Garmin stock? Ticker symbol GRMN. GRMN. It's currently in a downtrend below all four of its major moving averages. It's probably going lower. That's just my technical analysis by looking briefly at the charts. GRMN, what about its fundamentals? Price to sales 4, P to E 19. The fundamentals don't look terrible. So it's probably going to keep downtrending in the short term, but based on its fundamentals, it'll probably find price support soon. So I would wait for its 200-day moving average to catch up, and then it'll probably start uptrending again. Whoa. Okay, we got another $5 super chat from Meow Meow. Your thoughts on uranium stocks? Suppose upcoming squeeze in the next 5 years, mass adaptation of nuclear to slow climate change. If Russia keeps causing trouble for the European continent, then yeah, I think Germany is going to want to go all in on nuclear, similar to how France did. So I don't know any. Like I don't off the top of my head know about any specific uranium stocks that I would recommend, but in general, it's a pretty scarce resource, and I imagine um, probably good price support and growth over the next 5 years. So I can't recommend anything specifically, but yeah, it's probably a good bet. $5 super chat from Lone Star Elevators. Thank you so much. Marl, you made it. You've made it to so many of my super chats. Welcome. What's up? Just doing a live stream. Been going for a little over an hour now. It's going good. Lone Star Elevators. Is it a good time to purchase WM? What is WM? Waste Management. That's a pretty good company. WM. Ooh, it's experienced a sell off, but I don't think this stock was terribly overvalued. I mean, price to sales is 3, P to E 33. It is selling off. It is below all four of its major moving averages, but they're not lined up yet. This stock could potentially recover in the next 2 months. It's up to you if you think now is a good time to get into waste management. Teresa, Jake, why did Warren Buffett buy NU, a company with negative earnings per share, cash flow, net income, and is overvalued? And why didn't you get a house with a lease option to buy? That's a good question. Well, I don't know if I'm staying in Vegas long term. Potentially, I might only be here for 2 years, and then I might move back to the Midwest to be closer to my sister and my parents. So I don't necessarily know if I'm going to be buying. And why did Warren Buffett buy NU? Uh, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. I mean, if Warren Buffett bought it and it's currently losing money, then he must think it has some kind of intellectual property or service that can be, with the right advice and management and connections, be quickly turned around. Okay. The only exception to the 2-year IPO rule would be Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is never going to have an IPO. They would have to they wouldn't be able to do whatever they wanted if they had to take public money. So Chick-fil-A is not doing an IPO. Fantastic Frankie. That's a good name. What do you think about Netflix? Do you think it will go back up pre-Omni level? I think Netflix is a great company, and right now it's probably trading at a discount. I think that huge sell off. There was a lot of long term investors that I forget the name of the guy, yeah, who bought like a 9% stake in the company after it sold off. But Netflix is a fantastic company. If they actually do get into video games and can be successful at it, what Netflix needs to do is they need to open a theme park, based on all their TV shows. It doesn't even have to be family theme park. It could be like an adult theme park or something. Yeah, I don't know. There's lots of opportunities for Netflix now that they're cash flow positive and they have their own growing list of loved franchises. I I'd go to an amusement park and do a live action Squid Game competition. That'd be hilarious. As X, are you more conservative with your stock investment now that we have an upcoming war? I am holding cash, but I knew that this week was going to be the third Friday of the month. Yeah, this Russia Ukraine thing, and then we have the Fed raising interest rates early March. They're meeting on the 15th, and then once again the third Friday in March. So I think if there's going to be a big sell off in the short term, it'll be that third week in March when the Fed raises interest rates, and it's the third Friday of the month. So all the money I've been saving up, I'm gonna buy the dip that week. I'll make some videos for you guys. GMC, hi Jake. What is your approach when looking for stocks to invest in? Uh, if it's below all four of its major moving averages, I'm going to avoid it. If its price to earnings, price to sales are at all-time highs, I'm going to avoid it. So if I can find one that's not those two things, then I just look for companies that I think have a good business model. Canary Wharf Money, Jake, any planned buys? I think Google is a buy right now. It currently is selling off, so I'm watching the stochastics, and as soon as the percent K gets over the percent D, that'll signal that the sellers have exhausted themselves in the short term. But I think if you're looking for a tech stock to buy for the rest of this year, Google is a great place to put your money in the short term. Uh, Josh, thoughts on Micron? Sorry, I don't really know much about Micron, so I mean, I can look at the stock really quick. Is it selling off like everything else? Ticker symbol MU. Micron looks like it's uptrending. I mean, it might go back to $80 a share, and looks like there's a level of resistance at $95, $100. Okay, we got a super chat, $5 from Zunar. Thank you so much. Any thoughts on Arch Capital Group, specialty insurance company? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever even heard of them. ACGL. Okay, well, this is the first stock that someone's mentioned to me that's actually in an uptrend. So, yeah, their technicals look really good with all four of the major moving averages lined up. Let's check out their fundamentals here. ACGL. Their price to earnings is only 8. Well, this is a financial stock, so you kind of have to look at their price to book value, and it's only 1.46. JP Morgan is like 1.6 and American Express is like 5.5. So, no, this looks like a decently valued company that's got really nice technicals. I don't know anything else about the company than that 2-minute evaluation I did for you guys. Billy Mays Quality Products, advice for a U.S. Air Force cadet. Don't spend all your money on cars. For some reason, when people commission and become a new Air Force officer, they immediately go to a dealership and buy a $50,000 truck. So I know it's tempting once you have the money to secure a car loan to just go out there and buy the nicest car you can find, but try and find a used car, maybe 3 to 5 years old with a good mileage, uh, clean title, but don't waste all your money. Spending your first 4 years as a military officer, making astronomical car payments. Whew. All right, guys, we are at 6:25. Been talking for almost 90 minutes here. Bobby, you made it. Sorry, I'm about to wrap up here. Rorschach, 602 channel member, thank you for coming. I know you avoid small caps typically, but would love to hear your thoughts on GNW. All right, we're going to make this the last one of the night here. GNW PDE is 2. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Price to sales is 0.28. I don't know why it would be that low. Genworth Financial. Oh, it's some kind of financial stock. The technicals look stable. It looks like it's trading within a certain range, and its price to book value is 0.14. Looks like an undervalued small cap, but I don't know anything about their business here. All right, guys, we got to wrap this up and say goodnight. I appreciate you guys showing up for the live stream. Lots of good comments, lots of good questions. Till the next one, guys, take care.